Hello everyone, welcome back to another GeoGuessr video, and kind of a shotgun video here, but we're doing it pretty quick. This should be a pretty short one, but a good daily video for you guys. We're going to be covering the APAC Major today, which is happening this weekend upcoming. I mean, I feel like time has flown by so fast. It seems like, just yesterday, I felt like I was at the World Championships of 2024 for GeoGuessr. So, World Championship closely approaching, and the APAC Major is this week, so should be a fun one for everyone. I'm going to be breaking down the 6 competitors that will be competing in the APAC Major, and also going over my bracket predictions. So let's hop into it here, and let's see what we got. All right, we are back with the APAC World Rankings. We have Sheena and Zigzag as our top seeds moving into the single elimination 6-player tournament. Lero, Eamon, Feneb, and Spaghetts all have that first round matchup, and Sheena and Zigzag will play the winners based off of the seeds of the bracket, which I will show coming up. So let's talk a little bit about the players first to start off. So Sheena here finished in 10th overall for the World League standings, which is quite high. He was number 1 in APAC, of course. He won 23 out of 39 matches played, so a nice 23-16 record there for Sheena. As expected, his moving and no move a bit higher than his NMBZ scoring. I think he's more so, I would say his best mode is probably no move, but he is a very solid moving player as well. Average guess time a little bit longer compared to some other players, but that no move and moving being above 50% is a good sign moving into the APAC Major. All right, let's look at Zigzag now. And as we hop into Zigzag, he finished in 11th, right below Sheena with the same amount of points, so a 25 and 14 record here for Zigzag, and a 57% win rates. He didn't have as many guesses as Sheena, over 4.5k, and his average guess time definitely a bit lower there. But, no surprise here, his NMPZ win rate is top of the line. I would say anything above 60% is quite high and quite solid, in my opinion. And his no-move win rate is quite high at 59.5%. It's in the moving department, in which it's a little bit lower here from Oscar, but being above 50% in moving is still very solid as well. But that NMPZ win rate kind of ends up hurting Oscar at the end of the day, because it is a best-of-5 tournament, and you'll only get the NMPZ game if you do make it to the 5th round. So I would say it definitely favors the moving no move player specialist, but Oscar's no move win rate is nothing to slouch at as well, just below 60%. So definitely a solid player, and someone that will be a big contender moving into the major itself. All right, now let's look at Lero's stats here. Finished 15th out of 40, I guess 38 players, because 2 of them dropped out, but 24 and 15 here for Lero. The moving win rate, no surprise there. Lero's not really a moving player, I would say. He's definitely improved over his time, but back in the day, he is more of a no move and NMPZ player, and we can see that with this astronomical NMPZ win rate of 68.4, which is quite high. But once again, this does not favor him in terms of the best-of-5 format, just because there will only be one NMPZ game played, which is quite disadvantageous for players that are quite good at NMPZ. He is quite a good no-move player as well. I don't know if 56.8% is a really good indication. I mean, there are really good World League players, of course, but I do think he's a better no-move player than what his win rate suggests here. I think in the moving department, there are a good handful of good moving players in the APAC Major, so I think Lero might need to grind this mode, and hopefully he has moving into the APAC tournament, because this is going to be a big point of contention. 43.2%, probably not going to cut it overall in the best-of-5 setting. All right, we move now into Eamon's stats here. 22nd in the World League, so just below halfway, but 19 and 20 overall with 58 points. And all the stats slightly below 50% here. I don't think Eamon's particularly weak at one mode, and that's pretty indicative here in terms of the stats. I don't love that he's below 50% on all three of his modes win rate wise, but that I think that kind of just shows the variance and how balanced of a player he is overall. He's definitely competent in all three modes, and probably could be a surprise dark horse moving into the APAC Major. All right, two more contestants to go over. We've got Feneb here, who has 17 games won out of 39, 24th place here. His moving win rate, no surprise. Feneb probably the best moving player in the APAC regional. Him and Spaghetti, who are the 5th and 6th seeds, probably the best moving players that we got. Sheena not too far behind as well. But I think for me, the no move and NMPZ stats are a bit low. And, you know, there are 2 games of no move. Not always guaranteed, because if you 3-0 and you get 2 moving games, 1 no move game, then you don't have to play that second no move and never get to NMPZ. So I think having a moving advantage here is quite important. But it should be interesting to see how Feneb handles moving, because this 64.9%, I would say he's probably the best moving player in the tournament. So he could surprise some people by getting that early momentum from moving and, you know, perhaps taking a game in no move, even though the win rate for no move in NMPZ is quite low moving forward. All right. Last person to go off of here is Spaghetti, 27th place, 14 games, won out of the 39 games played. Yeah, as I said, Spaghetti, one of the better moving players here, moving win rate of 52.6%. But once again, like Feneb, the no move and NMPZ stats are a little bit down, I would say, compared to some of his competitors. But like I said, moving no move takes way more prevalence over the NMPZ gameplay overall for the APAC Major and any World Cup format. So yeah, a little bit tough for NMPZ players, but we'll see what goes down, especially in the APAC Major, because I think anything can really happen. All right, we move into the bracket here. This is my bracket prediction. Okay, this is in no way is going to be correct, because I always get it wrong, always, and I always show personal bias to people who I like more, and that's just how it happens sometimes. But I actually think that these matchups are actually perfectly made. Eamon and Feneb, I like that Feneb didn't have to go up against Spaghetti, who's his fellow moving counterpart. I would say both of their main modes are moving, Feneb and Spaghetti. And then Eamon, Lero a bit more balanced. I will say for this, I think this should be a very good match, Eamon versus Feneb. And I haven't really thought about my score prediction for this one, so I'll probably just be going off the cuff here. And we're going to say in a closely contested battle, I think Eamon can honestly take a moving game off of Feneb. I don't think it's impossible. Like, Eamon is very good at all 3 modes, as I mentioned. So I honestly think it could end up in a 3-1 or 3-2 Eamon. But I could see this match going either way. I could see Feneb getting some momentum, getting a little 3-1 himself, winning both of the moving games and just taking one of the 2 no-move games. So this is really tough, honestly. And, you know, both of these guys are very cool, very awesome dudes. So would like to see both of them move on, but only one can. And for that, I think, with the best of my ability, I'm just going to predict a 3-2 Eamon. Okay, like, I think it's going to be a closely contested battle. I could be wrong. We could just see Feneb sweep with the moving gameplay. But, you know, I think Eamon can pull it out in that NPZ game if we do get there, of course. So this is like, out of all of the possibilities, like Doctor Strange running all the simulations in his head, I think this might be the most likely, or the one that I'm most confident with predicting. And no way this is going to happen. No way we're going to get a 3-2 Eamon, because I've predicted it and I'm the biggest jinx. All right, we'll move into Lero Spaghetti here. So Spaghetti obviously has the advantage in moving, but I would say Lero is probably way more well-tuned in both no move and NMPZ, and I would trust him a lot more on those 2 modes. And I think it is possible, like, moving sometimes can be quite RNG in some ways. Obviously, the good players know how to get the info. They know how to play moving correctly. And Spaghetti is certainly one of them. But I think Lero can possibly take a game here. And I definitely favor him in the no-move format. So I will be taking a Lero 3-1 taking one moving game and then winning both of the no move games. All right. You know, it'd be quite embarrassing if I just don't have the format right. My assumption is it's moving, no move, and NPC. I hope that's correct, because that's what I assumed when they wrote best of 5. But you know, I digress. We'll move on. All right, Sheena Eamon here. Semi-final predictions. I think Sheena has shown that he is quite strong across all 3 modes. Although Eamon is quite strong across all 3 modes, I do think that there's just like Sheena is a little bit above on both moving and NMPZ compared to Eamon. I think NMPZ is quite close in terms of skill, but I think Sheena is a bit more above. Also, he's playing at home in his home country. There's going to be a little bit of crowd factor going on there, hopefully. Eamon has to fly all the way from New Zealand all the way up to Tokyo. Sheena probably just has to catch the Shinkansen to Tokyo. So I really think that Sheena has the advantage here. He's going to be comfortable. He's going to be in his home country. And he's going to be excited to show out for the fans. So I think with that being said, I'll take a Sheena 3-1 here in the BO5. All right, now we have Zigzag versus Lero. This is going to be a banger matchup, I think. And honestly, both players, not the best moving players. If we're being honest, I think both of them would agree with me in the fact that that's probably their weakest mode out of the 3 modes. And I would say, honestly, it might come down to an NMPZ game here. And I think, like, I just realized I have a full chalk bracket here. I've taken the 4th seed, the 3rd seed, and I've taken the 1 seed up here. Oh man, it's really gonna be crazy. But I think Oscar, having that LAN experience a little bit more, is gonna take it 3-2 in a closely contested NMPZ game, which means we have the full chalk bracket here. We got the 1-2 going in the championship, and we have the 3-4 in the 3rd place match. So let's talk about the 3rd place match first. In terms of Eamon and Lero, I think, once again, Eamon a bit more of a moving player, better moving player than Lero is. But I think Lero is a quite strong NM and NMPZ player. So I'm actually going to take the upset here, I do believe, because Lero was the 4th seed, right? So we'll take him 3. No, he's the 3rd seed. All right, so no upsets, but we'll take him in 3-2 in the NMPZ game. He's going to avenge the loss to Zigzag in the NMPZ game by taking the NMPZ game against Eamon. And now we move on to the final here. Sheena versus Zigzag should be an absolute banger if it does happen. Sheena playing in front of his home crowd. Oscar, just consistent World League player, consistent World Championship player for GeoGuessr. So yeah. Both of them, we will probably, if this result ends up happening, we will probably see them both at the World Championship in Copenhagen. But I think that, honestly, I haven't really given this one that much thought. But I think Sheena, being a better moving player overall, just kind of puts him at an advantage here, especially in the BO5, like I've talked about so many times in the past. I honestly think Sheena has the advantage here. And I'm going to take Sheena 3-1. Actually, not even a 3-2, because I think if it does get to NMBZ, I think Oscar has a very, very, very good chance of winning. I think he's a much better NMBZ player than Sheena is. But yeah, I'll probably take the 3-1 here for Sheena, for him to take both moving games and 1 NM game, or 1 moving game and both NM games. So I definitely see both of those as the more likely possibility. So I'm going to take a Sheena 3-1 here and have Sheena winning the APAC Major. So there's my predictions, guys. We have an Eamon over Feneb 3-2 in the first round, Lero over Spaghetti 3-1 in the first round. Then we have a Sheena over Eamon in the semis 3-1, and then a Zigzag over Lero in the semis 3-2. 3rd place match, we got Lero versus Eamon. Lero is going to win that one 3-2. And then we have in the championship Sheena versus Zigzag, and I got Sheena taking that one 3-1. So it should be interesting. We'll see what happens. Obviously going to be a huge LAN event. I wish I could be there in Tokyo, man. It would be absolutely electric, but just don't got the funds on me right now. So we'll see. But yeah, I'll try to be watching, and we'll try to see what happens. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your predictions and thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another GeoGuessr video. Peace.